So Q&A is not something I usually encourage speakers to do, but some organizations really want that, right? They really want you to do a 45 or a 30-minute presentation and then leave 10 or 15 minutes for Q&A. The issue I have with Q&A is, number one, is it can put you in a bit of a tenuous position because you never know what's going to come up. Number two is a lot of speakers don't know how to regain control if they lose control in a Q&A. And especially if you're making an offer, one of the worst things you can do is make your offer and then do Q&A because it takes the attention off of the offer. But sometimes what will happen is you might get a difficult question. You might get somebody in the audience who disagrees with you. You might get somebody who challenges you in some way, and you need to know how to handle those. So here are a couple of things that I've used that kind of work for me. I think one of the worst things you can do is be combative. You don't want to be adversarial from the stage unless that's your persona. If that's your persona and you're good at it and you like to do it, then feel free to go ahead. But most of us don't really like doing that, being adversarial, and we're not really good at it. So here's a couple of things that I do. Number one is I will thank them for their question, and then I will say something like this. Well, listen, thank you so much for your question. Now isn't the right time for us to discuss that, but I'll be happy to talk to you about it privately after the event. Who has the next question? And you have to move on to that. Who has the next question? Because if you leave it there, they're going to come back to you. So you take control that way. If somebody makes like a nasty statement or something, what you might do, and I've tried this one as well, is I just look and go, that's an interesting perspective. Who has the next question? And move on. Some of your most powerful words are, who has the next question? And what you want to do is put your hand up. Who has the next question? And turn to the other side of the room to get that question answered. And you just kind of cut those people off. It sounds rude, but that's how you handle rude questions. Now, if you happen to have the skills to get into that adversarial thing, by all means do that, but you're kind of wasting your time, their time, the audience's time, the organizer's time. And so I try not to waste time with questions that are not relevant or not of value. And if I don't know the answer, this is another thing. If somebody legitimately asks a question that you don't know the answer to, the worst thing you can do is try and make it up. So here's a couple of ideas. One way to do this is you could just say, I don't have the answer to that question, but if you like, I'll spend some time looking it up and we can connect later. Nobody's ever asked me to look it up. In fact, people end up sending me the answer to the question that they just asked. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is this. You might say, well, I don't know the facts about that, but if you like, I can offer you my opinion. And then wait for them to invite you to offer your opinion. And that's perfectly legitimate, because now all you're doing is you're telling them, I don't know the facts, but here's what I think if you want to know it. So knowing how to do some of these simple techniques can be very powerful for you.